Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On this week's episode, we're covering from 1984, The Karate Kid.
How a transplant from New Jersey to California can become a hero, zero to hero.
I just like Miyagi.
Yeah, this is a good one. A lot of cool fun facts on this. A lot of personal stories with this one, and we hope you enjoy it. Speaking of which, if you are, hit that 5-star rating on Spotify. On Apple, you can leave a written review and sit back, relax, and enjoy from 1984, The Karate Kid. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review,
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, David-san, what do you got going on in the V.C.R. today?
Very nice.
I like what you did there. Dave, this is in fact your pick.
Yeah, it is actually. The Karate Kid.
Yes.
1984. Not to be confused with the newer.
The woke version?
Yeah, it was at 2010.
You're going to say the Van Halen album.
No. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
One of their best.
Isn't that Taylor Swift's album, 1984?
I think it's 1989.
Oh, okay.
I know
it was 80-something.
Because I have a 15-year-old daughter. So.
All right. I'm sure she's a
I'm sure that's the reason you knew that.
Yeah, I should say about to be 15, not 15 yet, but yeah, this Karate Kid 1984, this one, man, this for me, just this screams 80s, man.
Oh my God, yeah, without a doubt. Like this is one of those that one assumes that everyone our age or everyone in the known universe has seen, but it's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, for damn sure, I've seen this dozens of times.
I think, yeah. The new one kind of like threw, I think, a lot of people off. I think the kids kind of gravitated toward the who played Mr. Miyagi in that?
Oh,
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan,
and
stuntman, yeah.
And Will Smith's little kid.
Yeah, I think I saw the new one, bits and pieces. I
didn't see the whole thing through either.
Yeah. For me, the classic one, always the best. Now, I do like the show they made, the Cobra Kai. I don't know if either of you have seen that.
Available on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've seen, yes, every episode of that.
Right.
Actually, my wife came in the one time I was watching it.
Oh, really?
In the room. She wasn't really she didn't really hear anything about it. And she was like, what kids show are you watching? She thought I was watching like Nickelodeon or something.
That's awesome.
Like a teenage show.
Yeah, it was like a teenage show.
I'm pretty sure I'm up to date on that. I'm almost positive I'm up to date.
What are your thoughts on that?
The Cobra Kai show?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
My God, it's awesome.
I really like. How about you, Matt?
Oh, I love it. I like the fact that they went through Johnny's, like, his whole life and kind of like making him a whole character that you can relate to. Like, he has a whole life that hasn't been that great. Like, he's just trying to like live his life and be a regular guy. He has problems, a kid, and he has no real job.
Yeah. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I like Johnny Lawrence.
Ever since this movie.
Yeah.
I think everybody's like Johnny Lawrence.
For sure. So Karate Kid, rated PG, release date on this, June 22nd, 1984, so summer movie.
Sure.
Running time, which I didn't realize this was this long, 127 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by John G. Avildsen, written by Robert Mark Kamen, and produced by Jerry Weintraub, which is a name I've heard. He's definitely, I think in the 80s was doing a lot.
Oh,
that name sounds very familiar to me.
Wasn't that the Me Too guy?
No,
that's
that was
Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harvey, not Jerry.
Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. So budget on this, $8 million. Box office, 130.8 million.
God damn.
That was all the summer of 84. It made that.
Yeah. This is box office money. So I'm trying to think back if I saw this on like HBO or something.
That's where I seen it. I did not see it in the theater. I remember it was playing on HBO like nonstop. They would have the movie and then they play it again.
Okay.
I didn't see this one in the theater. I saw its sequel in the theater, but I did not see this one in the theater. But for damn sure, once it was available on your HBOs or whatever, for damn sure I saw it.
You caught it.
Yeah.
So this was mostly filmed in Calabasas, Malibu, Woodland Hills, areas of LA, Oak Creek Canyon in Arizona. The Miyagi house, which is now since demolished, was located on Galt Street in Canoga Park, Los Angeles, probably like a suburb. And filming for this, October 24th, 83, ended December 8th. So about 45 days of filming.
That's not bad, dude.
No.
You want to talk about the juice being worth the squeeze.
Right.
If that's all you got to put in, is that much effort and $8 million?
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
And
With kids too. Like there are a bunch of kids filming this.
Dude,
You figure it'd take
slave
a little
labor.
longer.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was, this is one of the rare movies that was filmed like chronologically. So each scene was filmed as they were going through it. A lot of, they'll do the beginning, the end, and mix it all up.
Sure.
So that's pretty much it for all that fun stuff. So I'll pass it over to Zap for the cast.
Cool. All right. The cast of 1984's The Karate Kid includes Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence, Elizabeth Shue as Allie Mills, Martin Cove as John Kreese, Randy Heller as Lucille LaRusso, Ron Thomas as Bobby Brown, Chad McQueen as Dutch, Tony Odell as Jimmy, and Rob Garrison as Tommy. Tommy.
That's a good cast. I have a thing to add to that. I might have said this on another podcast. I think that Dave said.
Yeah, it was on the Greenbrier Ghost, if you want to go back and hear it.
Check that one out. But Allie Mills, who is played by
Elizabeth Shue.
Yes, Elizabeth Shue. Allie Mills is actually the mom's name on the Wonder Years. That's her real name.
In real life.
In real life, yeah. That's just a little fun factual. Right?
Fun fact.
But Elizabeth Shue, I was in DC with my wife and we were walking down the street. And I seen this lady with like her hair was all curled, blonde hair, great body. She was in like this blue dress, and I was like looking. She turned around, like looked at me, and I was like, Elizabeth Shue. And I said it like that, like out loud.
Really?
And I just like stopped. My wife like bumped into me, and I'm stopping there looking at her. She's like 5-10 feet away. And she kind of looked at me and like smiled and like turned and went into the
ran
hotel there. No. She seemed really cool. And I was like, and my wife's like, what the heck? Who was that? And I was like, I was Elizabeth Shue. She's like, who? I was like, Adventures in Babysitting, Karate Kid. I was like, Elizabeth freaking Shue.
You should have kicked a soccer ball over to her. You know what I mean?
In the face.
In the face.
I won't say anything about the song yet, but yeah. That'd been a cool part.
That's
but yeah,
cool,
it's just a little fun fact there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I got a fun fact too on one of these cast members, Chad McQueen. He played Dutch.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is he dead as fried chicken?
No, he's, as far as I know, still alive, but you know who he's the son of?
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, correct.
Given a name like that.
McQueen. Yeah. It's like,
Wonder, Lightning McQueen.
Yeah. So, wow, I did not know that was Steve McQueen's son.
Yeah.
That's
the
awesome.
One and only son. So he was born in 1960. McQueen died like back in
he
the
died
day.
a while back.
He died young.
Did he die like an accident, car accident or something like that?
No, he had the bad cancers or some kind of stomach something or whatever, but he went down for the count early. Some internal something was going wrong.
McQueen's from Bullet, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Bullet.
Okay.
Who's the guy I'm thinking of that, like a maybe 50s guy, died in like a car wreck, like a Porsche? Good looking guy. James Dean.
James Dean. Yeah.
That's from the 1950s or whatever.
I know like my dad and like old heads, they love Steve McQueen because he was always in those car movies and all that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he was like a precursor to like a Burt Reynolds. Like he was the Burt Reynolds of his era.
Just like a manly man.
Yeah,
he was the man's man. He was definitely a man's man. I mean, you have him in not only Bullet, as we've discussed, but he was in The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. A movie later remade with Pierce Brosnan, The Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a remake.
He did a bang up job in that.
Who was the redheaded lady that played in that?
In
Thomas Crown
Thomas
Affair,
Crown?
with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. I can picture.
Oh, the one with Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
It's not. Is it Renee Russo?
Renee. Yes, Renee Russo.
Is that Renee Russo?
Yeah, she's
Renee Russo.
She's Foxy Lady in that.
Foxy Lady.
Dennis Leary's in that as well.
Oh, he's great. I forgot about Dennis Leary.
Yeah, but don't sleep on that. The OG original Thomas Crown Affair. Give that a shot.
Nice. I'll have to check
Very
it out.
James Bondy.
I think I saw it like but years ago. So I guess that's it for the cast, and we'll pass it over to Matt for a brief synopsis.
Yes, we have a brief synopsis here of the movie Karate Kid. A fatherless teenager faces his moment of truth in The Karate Kid. Daniel, Ralph Macchio, arrives in Los Angeles from the East Coast and faces the difficult task of making new friends. However, he becomes the object of bullying and the Cobras, a menacing gang of karate students, when he strikes up a relationship with Allie, Elizabeth Shue. The Cobra's leader, ex-girlfriend, eager to fight back and impress his new girlfriend, but afraid to confront the dangerous gang. Daniel asks his handyman, Miyagi, Pat Morita, whom he learns is a master of the martial arts, to teach them karate. Miyagi teaches Daniel that karate is a mastery over the self, mind, and body, and that fighting is always the last answer to a problem. Under Miyagi's guidance, Daniel develops not only physical skills, but also the faith and self-confidence to compete against tremendous odds. As he encounters these, they fight towards his life in the exciting finale. This entertaining film is one the whole family would enjoy.
Nice.
Wow, I just said the movie.
God damn, was that on the back of a VHS?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That is the you don't even have to rent the movie.
Yeah,
now
we can
hold it up for
we have the whole movie right there.
That's a ridiculous synopsis.
Okay, fun facts.
Yeah, fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun facts, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, I was very happy to be here. Thank you.
So I guess it's time to steer through the movie a little bit.
Yes, man. It's going to be tough, though. I mean, there's not much left to fill in the blanks.
Right.
But indeed, our story begins in September in Newark, New Jersey. Amidst a cityscape of working class, a lone station wagon departs, its passengers waving goodbye to their friends and neighbors as they depart for sunny California. Arriving at the South Seas apartment complex, we're introduced to the travelers, a hopeful single mom, Lucille LaRusso, and her distraught son, Daniel LaRusso.
Why do you say distraught?
Well, because he's distraught.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fucking be there.
He's like, why do we even have to move?
What is a teenager?
True. Yeah.
An awkward meeting with his neighbor, Freddie Fernandez, lands Daniel with an invitation to a party at the beach later that day. And a broken faucet in their new apartment prompts Daniel to meet the apartment complex's maintenance man, Mr. Miyagi.
Miyagi. Yeah, so those kids in the very beginning when they're leaving New Jersey, there was like a pack of kids, like you were saying, chasing the car.
Oh my God, yeah.
They were supposedly like local kids in that neighborhood that were like bothering the people on set. And the guy was like, look, if you just leave us alone, we'll let you in on the movie, like just chasing the car or whatever. So they were actually kids in the neighborhood, the actual neighborhood that were like bothering everybody there.
Kind of like Rocky. He was like running, running behind him.
That was so typical. I mean, they did a great job. I'm sure that had to have been filmed, I'm guessing, in Jersey. Because, I mean, that was as typical you could expect out of Jersey.
You know, I was wondering about that because when I looked up the filming locations, there was nothing on there for New Jersey. So I'm wondering if that's like a part of LA that kind of looked Jersey-ish, but I don't know.
Arizona or something.
Or maybe in Arizona, but I was thinking the same thing because I'm like, that looks like an East Coast town. It was like such a striking change from where he left to where they ended up.
Yeah, if they're filming all of this in California, I don't think they went all the way to the East Coast to film 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, probably not. But that place he's living too,
the South Seas.
When they get to California and they're living at that reminds me like of a beach, like when you go to the beach and rent like a spot.
Or like a condo or something like that. Yeah. Yep.
With those pools in the middle and all that.
That pool was so gnarly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was distraught because he like saw where he saw like the South Seas apartment complex.
I'm pretty sure he was distraught because he didn't. He was pissing and moaning about it the whole way there. Like he did not want to leave Jersey. Why do we have to go to California?
Well, mom got a new job, right?
Which I will get to that question in a second.
I know.
Okay. But it is
going to go with that.
Speaking of the mom, played by Randy Heller. Randy Heller was she played the character of a lesbian in Soap.
Oh, was that Benson? Soap was like an offshoot or something.
Benson was in fact a spinoff of Soap. Soap is an incredible sitcom, incredible. But yeah, she played a lesbian in that.
Fun fact too on her in this movie. So LaRusso, played by Macchio, was 22 and she was only like 36. I think they said like a 14-year difference for the mother and the son in this.
Dang.
Like real life, you know what I mean? Playing his mom.
So he was 22 in this.
Yes.
Let's one more time. He was 22.
Yes.
God damn. He looked young. So if he was playing a 17-year-old going on 18, I thought he was younger.
Like 15.
Yeah. I'm serious. He looked like a goddamn baby.
That's what, for the casting, they said something about the guy. I was like, well, he's 22. And they were like, that's too old. And they saw him and be like, this guy's perfect.
I mean, he looked young.
Perfect and terrible. I remember all those girls just loving that Teen Beat magazine with Ralph Macchio in there.
Oh, he was like Tiger Beat.
Correct. Tiger Beat, Teen Beat, you name it. The magazines were beat.
Just beat.
Yeah, they were beat.
So it's interesting. So on the way to California, as they're traveling through and they stop here and they stop there, I guess during one of the stops, they needed to pop the clutch, as they're rolling the car, they, pop it out, put it in second, do whatever. Now, this was a station wagon, a sizable station wagon.
Malibu, I think.
Five speed.
5-speed.
I'm thinking, well, that's what I'm thinking, like a manual transmission in that size or I should say that type of a car.
It's probably up on the column. You know what I mean? One of them.
That is entirely possible.
Yeah, that's what I think he meant, is just put it down into what, drive when he was pushing it.
I haven't driven one like that, but I know they exist.
I've seen sporty little wagons. In fact, I've driven sporty little wagons that have, that are manual, but not this big,
Oh, that thing was a boat.
land yacht.
That was the like a family truckster style.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys notice the shirts between Daniel and Freddie Fernandez?
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote something down about that.
So Daniel's wearing at what was the style at the time, a muscle shirt. Does anyone still wear those? Please, God, no.
Well, the shirt Daniel had on is the 3 eyes. It said on it.
3 eyes?
The 3 eyes. So
Okay.
I looked it up, just Googled it. Is that a band or whatever? It's a national park in the Dominican Republic. Now, that's all I could find on the 3, but maybe there's a band, the 3 eyes. I don't know.
Who's to say? You don't even know.
You don't even know. That other kid's, I forget, his said like making bacon or
Correct.
something like
His
that.
had 2 pig.
A lot of making bacon shirts in the 80s.
His had 1 pig humping the other and had making bacon. on it.
Nice.
All kids should have that shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So as what's his name kicks the door in and he kicks the door to the complex and he's walking with his bike and a piece of luggage.
Mm-hmm.
The bike we'll get to, but I should say we'll see more of. But what kind of bike was that?
That was a mongoose, and the model was called a 2.4,
Okay.
and then they had a 2.6, I think, too. And I don't
So
know
that
if-
was not a 20-inch bike.
No, that was you could tell the tires were bigger,
Yeah.
and all that. Like it was
That was the big kids bike.
Just a BMX bike for that time.
Yeah, so like a 20-inch, like I had a Mongoose Californian. I got in 1984.
That was
like
a 20-inch.
that was a 20-inch trick bike. You could put pigs on it. You
Sure.
could do whatever. These bikes are more, I think, for like racing and.
Mongoose was a racing. Redline
That
was
makes sense.
racing.
Mm-hmm.
There was like the
makes sense.
GTs, which were like the pro performers. They were more like a trick bike.
Yeah,
That was a big, like in the 84, 85, 86 time.
So I looked that bike up to see like people selling them or whatever. Like I found one that's like over $3,000.
Fuck that.
Like one that was like put back together and
I just
cleaned up.
assume we've talked about it. I just assume get a dyno or a mongoose or a
get it from,
diamondback or whatever.
Japan now, you can buy the sets of them.
Yeah, they're nice looking. I mean, those old bikes, like they're awesome.
They don't make them like they used to.
No.
So
Nothing.
that crazy lady in the apartment complex that's just sitting there smoking and doing whatever, knitting. Freddie keeps telling Daniel, like, oh, she's not, she's cuckoo. Was that was that the woman that played Happy Gilmore's grandmother?
I don't know. Did you
I thought it
look
was
at
the
that?
Where's the Beef lady.
No, it was definitely not
Okay.
her.
I'm not sure on that. I didn't really get a good look at her face because she was like done up, and I don't know. I didn't put that together, but
We'll
it's
have to
possible.
find that out. Maybe we can
put that in the
we can
mailbag.
delve into it.
Interesting. So we do get he does meet with the busted ass faucet. He did meet Mr. Miyagi. So it is interesting that Matt makes that sound. I got to drop it. Fun fact. Pat Morita was born and raised in the United States.
Yeah,
Yes.
no accent at all.
He created that accent just for the character.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like Arsenio Hall we did it, Coming to America. And both him and Eddie Murphy did it. They both put on blackface to play a black character
Right.
when they were playing the barbershop guys. So in this case, Pat Morita is putting on whatever he thinks is the appropriate, accent of whatever part of the Orient he's from, just to sound like that.
Right.
Well, that's
Make it sound authentic. And
Yeah.
for the casting of this. They said that they knew him from Happy Days, and they were like, we're not bringing a comedian into this part. Like,
Yeah.
we need-
True.
and then when they did that, that's when Zap, they said, like, we need somebody that's like, from that culture. He's like, I eat the
Yeah, you put it on.
Yeah, and he put it on. They were all like, yeah, that's it.
That's
Yeah,
the guy.
That's the guy.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I forgot he owned Owls, right?
Sure did.
In Happy Days.
He owned Al's after Al.
That's right.
Yeah,
Al
Al-
Del Vecchio, right?
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. I think Nutley Nick told me that when I told him we're doing this. He said, hey, yeah, fun fact. I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
Shut up, Nutley.
Shut up.
No, leave Nutley alone. He's bugging to get in here. On
Yes,
and he will be. I
Yeah.
assure you, he will be.
For the classic
Vintage
song
album.
review, vintage
Yeah.
album review.
It's coming. It's coming. Brace yourselves.
We're halfway there.
Are we?
Living on a prayer.
Oh,
No, that-
well played, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
That evening and night, Daniel attends the beach party with his newfound friend, Freddie, and meets a hot local blonde, Allie Mills, who takes a shine to him. But trouble's brewing. a group of high school kids arrive on their dirt bikes, and one of them happens to be Johnny Lawrence, the de facto leader of this makeshift gang. As chance would have it, Johnny and Allie used to be boyfriend-girlfriend, and he's none too happy about their breakup. Seeing Allie and Daniel hitting it off, it doesn't take long for Johnny and his most excellent skills in karate to make short work of Daniel. With a black eye and an already grim outlook for his new surroundings, Daniel makes his way to school to the tune of Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Yeah. Get to meet our hero of the story, Johnny Lawrence.
Some would say.
Yeah. But
certainly the hero of Cobra Kai.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I like that part too, because you're showing these are kids that, like, Johnny really doesn't, him and Daniel LaRusso, they don't have anything in common.
Not a goddamn
No.
Because he's a rich kid. Like, they're all on their dirt bikes. You know, they have dirt bikes just because they can. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they don't ride regular bikes. They got dirt bikes.
I mean, they even have cars. Like, why they? Like, he has a car. Like, why are you riding a dirt bike?
Because it's cool.
Yeah.
Because
true.
the same reason a dog licks his balls, because he can.
Because he can.
Yeah, you
right,
just get on your dirt bike, ride out to the beach. Like, but yeah, these guys, they're at Cobra Kai. They got their own little, like, their little buddies, big houses, country clubs.
It's just a gang.
Yeah.
I noticed
Cool
too,
kids.
One of the group of kids that Daniel was hanging with had a Varney shirt on. Is that how you said it? Varney. Remember
French.
If you say.
Yeah.
The sunglasses, VUARNET. Remember those? Varney.
I do not.
Remember the
Yeah.
shirts, Varney shirts?
Yeah, that was the big thing in the 80s. And
I
he
wasn't that highfalutin.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little before our time. Like, we would have been much younger.
Sure.
But I was aware of it, mostly probably because of movies and stuff. It was like product placement in movies. But yeah, I noticed that shirt. And again, one of our boom boxes, the big thing in the 80s, that's what kind of sparked all this.
Yeah.
Their little run-in on the beach.
Absolutely.
So Johnny, we find out, obviously has a thing for his ex.
Yeah.
Because they're broken up.
He won't let it go.
Mm-mm.
It's so I see the boom boxes like that, and I remember seeing those. But when I was a kid, the boom box to have was that any one of them that had detachable speakers.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that to me was you were the shit if you had to, like, your boom box was a transformer,
Right.
which was just awesome.
It was like the record player, 2 tape decks.
Yeah.
Then it had like the big equalizer underneath, and then you had the 2 speakers that you could take off.
Yep.
If you get it from
Very
Sears,
nice.
it was always like the SR series, like SR 2000, SR 3000.
What is the S, like Sears
It
Roebuck?
was something to do with their.
Oh, I
yeah.
wonder.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I didn't even
Sears
think about
Roebuck.
that.
Yeah, that's the SR.
But then later, if you were like mid 90s, it was Iowa. AIWA.
AIWA.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Iowa. Yep. Yep.
That was how it progressed. Those things sounded awesome, those little Iowa systems. But 80s, boom boxes all over the place.
All over the place. So we were talking about the dirt bikes, right? So Matt and I grew up not too far from one another, and maybe right in between us geographically was this area of yet to be developed land,
Billy's Trails.
the Billy Trails. Well, so it was a cornfield that over the course of time there was a lot of runoff,
Mm-hmm.
almost like glacier-like, that had cut through a backside of it. It could have been from earth movers, who knows? But there was just a ton of dirt that was moved and created this huge, long-running ditch.
Off White House Lane, is that what we're talking about?
This would have been, I mean, at the time, it was in between
There was a
Hanover
it's where,
Street and, God.
It's where your cousin lived. It was right behind.
Which was Hanover Street.
Hanover Street. It was right behind.
Like Rosedale Avenue down that way.
The Michellis lived the next complex down. It was right behind the complex.
That was
of Michelli's.
Lakeside.
Lakeside Drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was any number of ways to get to this, and it was all through, like, you're riding your bike through woods or cornfields. Like, nobody, no parents knew where it were. In fact, I knew where it was. In fact, I remember my parents at one point saying, "Look, you're not going to those trails unless you take us to these trails. What you keep talking about this? What goes on back there?"
That was the first place I had a tobacco snuff.
Chew in there.
Yeah, and I got sick.
So let me put it in perspective. Back then, when you guys were kids, it's like Hill Valley. When you go back to where Marty's house is, it's all fields.
Yep.
But now it's all houses.
Oh,
basically.
and then
it's
some.
developed.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
There's
Just
a
trying to get a
park
visual.
back there now. But
I bring up the concept or the memory of the Billy Trails because as we're talking about bicycles and whatever, so most kids, and I mean 90+% of the kids back there, were riding their BMX bikes. They would go down into this ditch and come back up. Like, you get
it was like a half pipe made of dirt.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you for that. That's exactly what I was looking for. It's a very long half pipe made of dirt, and it was deep.
It was.
So every once in a while, you would see someone show up with a dirt bike. And that, I mean, they would just rip. I mean, rip. The air they would get was unbelievable. But
I don't know if you remember Jeff Webb. He was like one of the older kids.
So
that used
Jeff
to ride
Webb,
there.
Jeff Webb used to hang out with a guy named Scott Guest. And
Okay.
those two were the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
I had a Yamaha. dirt
That's
bike.
right. You and your brother. Yeah.
So I used to ride and do that. But you couldn't go anywhere in the city. Like I'd have like a little, I'd just do little circles and stuff.
That's like your grandma's,
It's not-
grandma's house. She had those two hills.
It's not like now, like in the city, kids just ride up and down the street, like through traffic and
Popping
stuff like
Oh
wheels.
that.
my God, I can't stand that shit.
Yeah.
I look forward to every single one of them getting hit by a car. I'm serious.
It's
I'm
ridiculous,
serious as
yeah.
cancer. I look forward to every single one of them getting hit by a car.
But we real quick, we didn't mention this, but I
It's
saw
never real quick, man.
Cruel Summer there by Bananarama. This there was a pretty good soundtrack to this movie.
For
also.
sure.
It's fun to
Shit,
follow.
yeah.
It takes you right back to the
Shit,
80s.
yeah.
You know, with that part too, I wanted to mention, I wrote down here. So that scene where Cruel Summer's playing, they're all walking into school.
Yep.
Everybody's got denim jeans on.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, that's a nice ass. That's a nice, and like half of them are dudes.
Yeah.
Because they have the same hairstyles. Because you just see them from the back. And a lot of guys and girls have the
Feathered.
And the jeans are so tight. I'm like, man, that's nice. Look nice. And it's a dude, you know what I mean?
It's like
Oh my God.
dude on his like riding those bikes.
Yeah.
Like on the street, you're like, hey, check. Oh,
When you're driving up on them, you're like, oh, hey, oh, you get by, it's a
what
dude.
are you looking at, man?
Oh, hey, man. I just wanted to ask you if you thought the game was good last night. Oh,
Yeah,
How
those-
about that game last night?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Those tight denim jeans back in the day.
The Guess. They were all the Guess jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guess who's wearing them?
Yeah. You're
Some
right. Yeah,
zoo.
good one.
Another zoo.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's at school. Not long into his first day at school, Daniel has a rough go at soccer tryouts, where we find Johnny and his friends dominating the practice session and luring Daniel to take the bait for a fight. Daniel is determined to get even with the local hooligans and is now intent on learning karate. Making his way to the local dojo, he's swift to find that his nemesis, Johnny, and all of Johnny's cohorts are the star pupils of Cobra Kai, the dojo's namesake. Fear not. A quick pep talk with his mom and a reminder of Allie's attraction set his mind at ease for the moment. That night, as Daniel makes his way home on his bicycle, he's followed and terrorized by Johnny and his friends on their dirt bikes. He doesn't stand a chance as he's run off the road, tumbling down the hill with his bike right behind him. Eventually making his way to the apartment complex, we find a distraught Daniel, cursing his bike's inferiority, to the point of throwing his bike into the dumpster, and his mom's inability to console him at the time. All of this outside the door of Mr. Miyagi's on-site workshop,
Yeah.
where he's heard the entire exchange.
You know, one thing I want to mention too with this Daniel, he gets to town and makes friends with that guy there, and then a group of them and stuff, and they ditch him like real quick. Just because you get your ass beat, like, oh, screw you, I'm done with you, and they just kind of roll.
That was, thank you. So that was in the first segment when they're doing the beach party.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I forgot. I wanted to mention
Yeah, dude,
it.
that's messed up. They left him there.
Like, would you do that? Like, ditch a dude because he got his ass beat? You know, you met somebody who's pretty cool, and then you're hitting it off, and then they gets beat up, and you're like, ah, you're a loser, and they just kind of left him there. You know, you remember that? It was just kind of.
Maybe back then I might. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just a kid. So
True.
in 84, I'm 8 years old. So yeah, I probably would do that. Like, who's this kid? I just met him. He's trouble. I don't want anything to do with this guy.
Well, because you're like, if he got beat up, maybe I'll get beat up if I hang out.
True.
With him.
You're a loser. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be like associated.
Get your
with
ass
him.
beat then
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So you're like, and one other thing I couldn't notice because it was nighttime, but was Johnny wearing parachute pants? And do you remember those from the 80s
I for sure remember parachute
with
pants.
the zippers? And all
Absolutely.
that? Yeah.
When did MC Hammer come out?
Thank
that like
you, Matt.
89 or
That's
88?
The first one I think of is MC Hammer.
But those were more of a baggy pants. Parachute pants, you could get ones that were kind of tight and almost like, but they would have zippers.
They
and
look like
stuff on them.
joggers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure he was wearing them, and it made me think, oh, I forgot about parachute pants.
I thought
Because
they were more like
all the rage in the 80s.
I thought they were more like work like a jumpsuit type pant,
Maybe.
like an Adidas.
I had parachute pants. You could zip up the side and like there'd be a different color, like up the
Oh,
seam.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Absolutely.
type stuff. And, you know, I was looking at Johnny's outfit and I'm like, oh shit, parachute pants. Now in HD, you can see all that stuff. You know,
They
you
still make
stretch it.
they still make the button pants.
that button all the way
The
down.
button
like
all the way
basketball
down. Yeah, that
players
you used to
wearing
like
stuff.
take off for a basketball game.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Oh my God, I forgot all about those.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about
A pair
breakaway
of
pants.
Adidas ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before those guys run Daniel off the road,
Mm-hmm.
so Daniel goes to the dojo, to Cobra Kai dojo, sees the bad guys in there, and he hightails it the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So distraught again, he goes over to this restaurant where his mom is. His mom's working. So the bad guys see him in there and they're just waiting. They know he's got to come out of there soon enough. So as he's sitting there in the restaurant talking to his mom says, she mentions her ability. Oh, this place is great. I'm going to train as a manager. I'm curious, just if she isn't already a manager or some higher level of employee, what was her draw to leave Jersey to go to California to be a waitress?
No, there was something that they mentioned that she was going there.
New job.
It was a new job and
she
computer
did
related
computers.
or something.
So she did say that, if I do this manager thing, maybe she was working 2 jobs.
Maybe, yeah.
So
It wasn't
that
so
makes
techy
sense.
in the New Jersey area, I think, that they were in. So, you move out to California, big tech jobs.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she was looking at.
This makes sense now. So her main gig was something in computers because she says that. She said, I could make way more money than being in computers.
And they can get out of the safety sands or whatever it's called.
Right.
Shady Acres.
South Seas.
Yeah. That restaurant,
Shady
yeah.
Acres.
The Oriental Express or something, that restaurant she was at, or was
Nice.
called. But I was looking at his plate. He had like a nice big steak. He was like picking. I'm like, man, that steak looks banging.
Dang,
Whatever
I know.
restaurant-
Dude, I know. His
Like a
mom's swiping a
Benihana.
steak
Yeah.
for him.
It wasn't a Benihana,
No,
which
I'm
is
saying
weird.
like the food it looked really good.
Oh, it looked real good, yeah. But he's there like picking at the broccoli. I'm like, dude, I'd be tearing that steak up. Looked like a high-end kind of restaurant, nice restaurant. But yeah, I wondered about that too with the job thing.
As soon as she said the computer thing and you pieced that together for me, thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
She had to have moved out there for computers. She's
Yeah.
working a second gig.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next day at school, a pleasant run-in for Daniel with Allie and her friend is short-lived as he sees Johnny and his friends lurking about. He runs away without being seen and makes his way home. Upon arriving at his apartment, he finds his bicycle waiting for him, fully repaired and in brand new condition. Assuming correctly that it is Mr. Miyagi to thank, he pays him a visit. A lesson in bonsai trees and a quick talk about inner peace later, Daniel has made a friend in Mr. Miyagi and is shaping up to be a worthy apprentice.
Sounds very ominous.
Is it? Maybe
Like he's
hopeful.
a Sith Lord.
Sith Lord, yeah.
So P.S. Allie's friend is a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
That dark-haired chick,
Yeah, she's always trying to jump in.
it's
Like,
just
yeah.
awful. Like, come on, man. Hey, this is my friend Daniel. Charmed.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Wait, how? Like all the kids in this high school, they all seem to be rich because like Allie's house.
Correct.
Mhm.
So how did they zone to be in
Well, this is
his
one
little
like,
apartment complex there? Like, why are they going to this school? Wouldn't that be like a?
well, no, this is one like I talked to L.A. Ron because he grew up out there, and he always mentioned how like the schools he was at, like you'd have some kids that would be from the hood, like down in some areas, and some are like out in these like the what do you call that place? The cliffs or
The
something?
hills or the
hills.
hills. Sure.
Yeah, and he's like, you'd go to these parties, and these houses it's like a whole nother
Okay.
life.
Yeah, here around where we live, it seemed like every time they put up like a real big new housing project, they like zone it out.
Of a certain
Yeah,
school
certain
district and
school
put it in
districts.
another one.
You're like, what the hell?
It's like a congressional redistricting.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You see like these lines, like it goes like a mile east, and then it drops like 6 miles south.
To pick
Yeah.
up the projects.
Yeah, and then it bumps, and then it goes over and gets the projects like all out of the
That's
picture.
so
It's
funny.
crazy.
It's so true though.
It is
Definitely.
true.
So when Daniel runs away from these cats, again, he's with Allie and her bitch of a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
He sees Johnny and Johnny's friends. They're all sitting on their dirt bikes at the bus stop. Because again, Daniel doesn't have a bike. At this point, Daniel threw his bike in the goddamn dumpster.
Right.
So he's got to get on the bus.
Right.
And there's Johnny and his friends, and Daniel just wants to avoid these guys. We were talking earlier about the dirt bike thing around here. So they're around here, and I'm sure in fact, I know it's nationwide. There's whatever with ATVs or four-wheelers or even dirt bikes where just the bad element gets on them and they roll up and down busy streets, absolutely busy streets,
yeah.
3 lanes, 4 lanes of traffic.
Rush hour traffic.
Yeah. So this is back in 84. We're talking, I hate to say it, almost 40 years ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Wrap your head around that one. So how were these dirt bikes legal? Like for them to ride these around? There was no license plate. There was no license needed to ride one of these. Was that okay in California or just okay overall?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
When we were
I'd be
kids, you could
curious,
ride your
though.
dirt bikes on the street. I don't think they'd really bother you unless you were
You would probably like weave in and out, like go up
or
on the
ride
sidewalk,
down the
and
sidewalk in the street. Yeah,
then,
I
like
don't
pop
think there's
out, like when
Is that
nobody's
right?
looking and stuff. I never did with mine. I would always take it to like what little patch of grass we could find. Otherwise, I'd go outside of the city.
Yeah.
We'd load up on my dad's truck and take it out and ride at my cousin's house or
Right.
wherever. But in the city, I wasn't jumping on it, like riding it up to the Little League field or.
There's kids around here that they'll drive up sidewalks onto the little league field and stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't think it's a thing unless you're like really causing trouble.
Now I had cousins that lived in Halifax.
Yeah, a lot of dirt up there.
So they're riding.
There's still a lot of dirt up there.
Yeah, and they'd ride wherever. I don't even know if there was a cop up there or state police. They might be the only ones that patrol
Probably,
it,
yeah.
and they're not patrolling it.
Regional, they call it.
Regional, yeah. So I don't know about out there. I would think that they would frown on that. Dirt bikes riding around, but maybe for the movie they just kind of wrote it in there. I don't know.
Or no, like if they're just riding on the beach and stuff, I don't think it's.
Well, now with that, what did we see not but 10 years or so later in Terminator 2? We see a young John Connor and his friend riding their dirt bikes around town.
True. Maybe that's an LA thing.
That's an LA thing.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Oh, well. Well, time passes and Halloween is soon upon us. At the encouragement of Mr. Miyagi, Daniel decides to attend the school's Halloween party. Daniel and Allie rekindle their estranged, budding relationship, and all is right in Daniel's world. But timing is everything. And when Daniel finds Johnny in the bathroom rolling a joint in one of the stalls, Daniel makes the most of the situation by sneakily placing a maintenance hose in just the right place to douse Johnny from head to toe with water. An infuriated Johnny races past Black Spider-Man and, along with his entire group of misfit friends, chases Daniel all the way back to Daniel's apartment. Daniel is caught, and the ass-kicking of a lifetime ensues. Just when we think all hope is lost for Daniel, Mr. Miyagi arrives and saves the day, making short work of Johnny and all of his friends.
Yeah, this Daniel, he can't just leave things alone. You know what I mean? He's got to go in there and stir up some shit. You know what I mean?
He's okay. So
he was dressed as a shower curtain, which I thought like a shower.
Daniel is definitely a shit stir. Johnny is definitely a bully, but Daniel is definitely a shit stir.
Then he goes out and causes accidents, running down the street, like in traffic.
Shit, that's right. The two
the
cars.
guy's a menace.
A menace, I tell you.
Yeah.
I don't think
society.
I think Johnny was just upset that he was trying to take his girlfriend, like right in front of him, like the gall on this guy.
Yeah.
So indeed, I said it, tongue in cheek, but in fact, there was Black Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
So the kids it's just this dude walking into the bathroom, and he puts his hand up like, "Yo, what up, Johnny?"
Yeah.
Johnny just runs right by him, just disses Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw
that isn't cool at all. Not at all. Did any of you catch the one line from Miyagi when he says that Daniel doesn't want to go to this party? Like, he just wants to be an introvert at this point because he just gets beat up wherever he goes. So Mr. Miyagi says, "Oh, you're like Confucius, right? Like, to make honey, young bee need young flower." That's pervy as shit.
It is a little pervy. I didn't catch that one.
What was
Is that improvised?
I guess. What was the name that Johnny's one friend, it might have been Bobby, gave to the joint? He's like, "Are you rolling that?"
Thunderstick.
Yeah, like insert something.
Thunderstick.
He didn't call it a joint. He didn't call it a whatever.
A whammy or something like that.
Or did he call it a number? Like, hey, are you done rolling that number? Maybe.
It might have been.
Oh, wow.
That's something I didn't catch either on that.
But I don't think LaRusso knew he was rolling the joint in there. I think that was just a bonus.
Well, he came up over and was looking down at him through those pipes up there where he put the hose over and stuff. But yeah.
So after Miyagi comes in and saves the day at the end. So Daniel's trying to jump this fence to get away. His apartment's like right there. His building is right there. And of course the bad guys catch him and they pull him off of the fence. Did anyone other than me notice that after Miyagi kicks all these kids' ass, after having jumped from the top of this fence onto these kids, he just lifts the chain and the lock right off of the thing and the gate opens wide.
Yeah.
If only
Maybe he had the key.
he didn't insert a key. He just like flipped some stuff over. Maybe he karate chopped.
He's
it.
magic.
Yeah.
Magic Miyagi.
He was like Batman jumping down there, like taking out all those dudes. Like, I laugh too though. Like you ever, and it's always, and I get it because it's a movie, but they always have, you got 5 guys. They all wait their turn to get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't you just why would you?
Yeah, they're all like doing these moves.
They're guys like sitting back
to the air and then they like attack.
You're spectating. He's done. All right, my turn. And you're going to get your ass beat. Like if you all 3 jump on him at once, you might have a chance.
No, you couldn't see it, but Matt just did a great impression of Johnny, who was the last one to get his ass kicked. But like he's standing back there, he starts waving his hands around, like he's basically doing wax on, wax off, and he comes over, and Miyagi just, kicks him right in the belly.
But you remember like Kung Fu theater growing up, it was always like that. Like always like one guy attacked at a time.
And everybody's
like,
spectating.
Yeah, and everybody's watching everybody else get their ass kicked.
In real life, I don't think that goes down like that.
No.
5-on-1, I don't care who you are.
So why wasn't there any charges pressed against Mr. Miyagi for beating up a couple of 16, 17-year-olds?
It's 84, man. Yeah.
Stuff like that just happened.
It's 84. Kids got a beating back then, and that was it.
That was it. You just kind of have a beer and forget about it.
But like a grown Asian man.
Right.
Shit, yeah.
So if you told your parents, like, I don't know, this Asian dude just came down and whooped our asses, Dad.
Well, the dad, any good father is going to say, well, what did you do?
Right,
you were picking on the LaRusso, or the LaRusso kid was starting trouble again.
Yeah. Only a woke helicopter parent is going to go over and say, you beat my kid up. I don't care what shit terribleness he did. You can't do that to my kid.
Right. I think back then it was just kind of like kids got in fights all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You come back beat up a little bit or bruised or no, your parents never really questioned.
I got my eye cut open when I was 6 or 7.
Fighting and stuff?
No, I was throwing.
How old was he? 14?
Yeah. He was like 13 or 14. He was riding his bike over the hill by where I used to get babysat. So anyway, we were throwing these stones.
Spelled differently.
And
Yeah, I know who he is.
I guess I hit the kid's bike. So he like slams on his brakes and comes over. He's like, who threw the rock? And like my friend Mike just turns around and runs back towards his house.
Oh, man.
And then the kid just goes and punches me. And I remember because I got stitches under my eye. And I remember I didn't get, they didn't inject me. 7 or 8.
Oh, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Still.
You went no numb stitches.
Yes, I remember that to this day. I just remember how much it hurt on the no numb stitches because it was so close to my eye. But anyway, my dad wanted to know who this kid was, so he had Mike's brother jump in the car, and my dad found the guy, and he was riding his bike still, the kid, who was probably 14, 15, grabbed the handlebars of his bike, bent him, and then the kid went and told his dad, and my dad called his dad and said, look what he did to my son. I remember the dad's like talking it out, and the dad was like, oh, he deserved that then, this and that. But like, to your point, I think, that happened in the 80s.
Shit, that happened.
Yeah, you just kind of work it out. Hey, stop being a dumbass.
Look, I got slapped around I got slapped around by my friend's parents, for sure. Like, because it was expected. Like, look, man, my parents would say, if my kid's acting up, feel free. Like,
right.
It probably, again, it probably went unsaid. It's just understood. If a kid acts up, you're going to smack him around a little bit.
Right.
But I was just thinking, like, these rich parents, this Asian guy from an apartment complex whoops my kid's ass. Like, I'm sure there would have been, like, cops called.
Maybe,
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
You can't get blood from a stone.
No.
And, those kids aren't going to probably say anything either. They're probably embarrassed. Yeah. And they're in karate, so they probably come home bruised up all the time.
True.
Getting beat up.
We used to come home bruised all the time, too.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it went down.
From getting whoopings.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. With grill marks. All right. Well, hot damn. Daniel now has another avenue in which to learn karate. Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi accompanies Daniel to the Cobra Kai dojo in hopes of squashing the ongoing feud between Johnny's gang and Daniel. Soon enough, we learn a little more about the sinister nature of the dojo sensei, John Kreese. After a short exchange between Kreese and Mr. Miyagi, the gauntlet is thrown. Daniel will fight at the upcoming All Valley Karate Tournament, where all scores will be settled. In the meantime, there are to be no fights or harassment from Johnny and his friends in order for Daniel to train. Mr. Miyagi has a few tasks for Daniel to complete before he starts training, however, and his first task, waxing all of the cars in Mr. Miyagi's parking lot.
Yeah, wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. So the Mr. Miyagi-John Kreese exchange was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like, you have this menacing, angry, just a shithead of a man here that's just teaching his kids, like, hate and beat people up, and this is how you be a bully. And
right,
like, what was their creed? It was like
fight, no mercy, and
that's it.
But Kreese had a pretty jacked up backstory.
He did, which we find later. Mm-hmm. We do discover
Cobra
later.
Kai.
So yeah, a lot of that has stemmed from just years of abuse.
Right. He wasn't born that way.
Yeah,
he was just kind of made.
He was made
to a killing machine.
He was a killing
Actually,
machine.
he was perfect in that movie.
Yeah.
Like karate, like you just hated that guy.
Right.
Oh my God, yeah, he was the villain. Nobody liked Kreese. Nobody at all. He was terrible.
Are you more of a wax on or wax off guy?
Ooh. Both.
Paint the fence.
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Well, that night, Daniel's got a date with Allie.
Yes.
They make their way to the local golf and stuff, where, despite what had been such a fun date, Daniel finds himself intimidated by Allie's affluent friends, their cars, their everything. But back to focusing on what's important. Daniel's next day with Mr. Miyagi is met with yet another task. Sanding the floor of the decking surrounding and making its way through Mr. Miyagi's Oriental garden. Evening comes and morning follows. Daniel's next day with Mr. Miyagi begins with a quick stint of catching flies with chopsticks, followed by yet another task, painting both sides of the fence surrounding the rear of Mr. Miyagi's property. Evening comes and morning follows yet again. Today's task for Daniel: paint the entirety of Mr. Miyagi's house, with only a note to guide him as to how to perform the task, as Mr. Miyagi will not be present this day. Upon Mr. Miyagi's arrival at his house that night, he finds an infuriated Daniel, frustrated with having to perform so many tasks while having received no karate lessons in exchange. Daniel's mind is blown when Mr. Miyagi reveals that all the mundane tasks Daniel has been performing for him have actually been part of his training.
Yeah, I remember back when and I don't know why I remember this, but I remember back when I saw this movie that I was like kind of blown away by that part as a little
We
kid.
all were.
I was like, I would have never.
That's a great part.
I would have never guessed that that's what he was doing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He pulled a mind, mind trick on him, man. That was crazy.
And it's like, show me a paint the fence.
Yeah.
And then like he's like doing the hand moves and sand the floor. Like it was really cool. Like and just how he was doing it.
If it was only that easy to learn, you know what I'm saying? And the other thing, back to that park where, you know, the mini golf and it's
golf and stuff.
Again, with those like beach vibes, like watching those scenes makes me think of like when you go to we live on the East Coast here.
Yeah.
So when I go to the beach, those are the things you do. There's water slides, there's mini golf, there's arcades. It just seemed like a night like at the beach on the East Coast. Out on the West Coast, that's just what they do, I guess.
The weather is completely different out there.
Oh,
yeah, it's
absolutely.
like 65 degrees in the winter.
That's what I was laughing the night before the match, which takes place in December. They're out on water slides and stuff.
Yeah.
They're at that park. It's
for
like
sure.
You're on Christmas break and you're swimming and doing stuff, you know.
What was the tune at the park there?
That one I don't remember.
I have it written down here. Your heart's young. Hearts beat fast.
That's later. That's not
later,
now.
right?
That's
Okay.
later.
I thought it was. Yeah, you're right. It is. It's the second time.
Correct.
Right,
Okay.
So Daniel's mom drove Daniel and Allie to the golf and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She picks him up, of course, in the beater wagon, and the thing doesn't work, or it stalls again. And
Right.
now Daniel and his mom are pushing Daniel's would-be date, Daniel's actual date, and she's the one starting the car.
Pop the clutch.
So I guess it was quite evident that Daniel didn't make such a good impression with Allie's parents.
Right.
Okay. Oh, we were talking about dirt bikes earlier, and they ride dirt bikes because they can, and Johnny already had a car. In fact, Johnny's car, he drove an Avanti. It's not often you see an Avanti.
Yeah, I don't even know
That's
what that
an
is.
incredibly rare car. But it makes sense considering the affluence.
Yeah, and that other dude pulls up in a white Vet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that
this
was
is
cool.
This is 84. They're filming this. That was the new body style at that time.
Yep.
So all your Corvettes up
With
to that
the
point.
Stingray type.
Well, no, this
front.
84 Vet was when they got real long.
The
and
curves went
pointy.
away. The curves
Yeah.
went away and the flat came in.
Right.
Yeah.
They weren't that like 70s style Corvette.
The best.
I think 82, they was the last year of that, like your 70s style Vet. And then they went to that
Mhm.
almost like real modern looking. So you'd imagine you're in a theater in 84, like, what the hell kind of car is that white?
Yeah.
That white Vet.
It was like seeing a DeLorean. Like, whoa, I've never seen that before.
Right. But that, I didn't know that Avante.
Yep.
I think they're rims, right? Let me talk about Avante rims.
Avantes.
Dayton?
No, I remember
Lorenzos.
What was that? Yeah, that's what they were, Lorenzos.
Avante.
Yeah.
So yeah, an Avanti. Fantastic. Or a neat little car. Definitely a neat little car. So everything is all coming together here, and Daniel's pissing him on like, dude, I've been doing this work for nothing, man, and all I want to do is get trained. Am I the only one who thought when Mr. Miyagi, or I should say, thought Mr. Miyagi might have been in for a special treat, wink, wink, when he told Daniel to wax on, wax
Go
off,
down.
and stand on the floor, and Daniel bends down immediately, and he's
Yeah,
completely out of the scene,
Yeah.
and just being like, "Ay,
No, get up.
All
I
right.
was thinking the same thing. When
All
it
right.
was going down.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one being juvenile."
No, that's where my mind goes. He's like, no, get back up here. Up here, not down there.
All right. Well, with his arms now conditioned, Daniel's first day of official training begins on the beach, where he is to learn balance. It is during this session where he catches a glimpse of Mr. Miyagi performing what is known as the crane technique.
I have a quick fun fact on that. Do you guys know what I'm going to say?
No.
Okay, that was not Pat Morita up there doing the crane technique.
That does not surprise me.
No, who was it?
It was the guy. Actually, it was one of the writers. He came up. He just made up the crane technique. There's no crane technique in the martial arts.
Oh.
It was some guy, and they said, "Well, what is it? What do you do with this crane technique?" And he got up on that thing and was doing that move, and that's where crane technique.
I feel like and I don't have this written down or in any fun facts, but I feel like somebody in the UFC or somebody used like the actual crane technique then in an actual fight. And I don't know if that's for real or not, or if I just think I read that somewhere.
That might have been just for, I don't know, comedic effect.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It was just saying.
Yeah.
Well, as a welcome distraction, Daniel makes a date with Allie for this coming Saturday night. He's to meet up with her after she attends dinner with her parents at the local country club. In the meantime, Daniel's training continues with learning balance, this time on a small boat with Mr. Miyagi. Saturday night arrives, and an impatient Daniel sneaks into the country club in hopes of seeing what his crush is up to and why she may be delayed. There, he sees her and Johnny dancing, and Johnny, seeing Daniel, kisses Allie passionately. An enraged Daniel swiftly flees, only to make a fool of himself by running into one of the servers, who's carrying plates of pasta and tomato sauce.
Go figure.
Yeah, once again, makes a mess of everything.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he have to pay for those dishes after he ruined them?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's he even doing there? He wasn't invited.
That's probably one of them things where, they tell you, like, you got to wash dishes to make up for everything. They probably had him work.
This whole scene, that whole scene where he runs into the other server. So, first things first. Daniel's outfit. Who the fuck wears an entirely white outfit? A white shirt and white jeans or white slacks? Like, he was all white. The only thing not
foreshadowing.
White, right, the only thing not white on him was a red zip up,
like a rain jacket.
Yeah. Like a
look, he was in like Running of the Bulls, like the all white outfit, and like a red scarf.
Like, dude, what were you thinking? Like, was that ever fashionable? All white, like to go out.
That coat too. It had one of the zippers along the neck where you could pull out the hood.
Pull out the hood for a rainy day.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was members. What's it called?
Members only.
Members only. That's it.
No, that didn't. They had the zip pocket on the.
Might have been a London fog.
Ooh,
yes,
London fog. So so Daniel now in all white and now covered in pasta and sauce. I am curious. Had it been another server that ran into the ones, like not Daniel, but another server, to run into the server who's carrying the pasta, would the whole room still have laughed as much as they did?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, dude's laying there with pasta all over himself, and there's another server right next to him, and the whole room is just laughing at these two.
Yeah, they were cracking up.
Well, that's what Johnny, he saw Daniel there in the little window there, and that's when he forces the kiss upon Allie. And then she gets all like, stop it. But Daniel didn't even hang around to see that part. Because he shouldn't have been there, though. Like you said, Dave, he's just trying to like cause shit again. He's just stirring it up.
And that part with the
Wait a sec. Wait. He wasn't stirring it up. He was supposed to have a date with this chick after she was done with dinner.
Right.
At 9:30. Well, then it's 9:40 and Daniel's waiting outside. Okay, so where's this,
Yeah, but they weren't like inclusive. Like she's allowed to date other people if she wanted to. Like he's getting all weird.
And those people in the country club, they always want to make rich people look evil. That's why they're laughing in there.
Dude, that goes back to
look at that poor kid.
Look at that kid.
Black and white, of course. Yeah. Of course. Oh, so did anyone else besides me when Daniel and Mr. Miyagi are in the rowboat and Miyagi shakes him out off of the front of the boat, the first thing I thought of was clutch cargo. Because Miyagi's like, oh,
laughing.
Daniel-san, you all wet behind the ears.
Again,
totem pole alive.
Totem pole alive.
Wasn't Daniel's mom like? Didn't she know he was hanging out with like Miyagi all the time either?
Well, I think she likes it because
he got a friend.
It's a father figure, What I'm
saying?
Yeah, he is fatherless.
Yeah. P.S. I loved that was like the first or second word in the synopsis you read, Matt.
What?
Fatherless.
Yes, fatherless. That's why I repeated it.
Like, dang.
Yeah.
All right.
A fatherless.
I know. Jesus. It was a test
Did they say
baby.
what happened to his dad? Is there any part
His
in that?
biological didn't bother.
No, they
So
didn't say.
he's somewhere in New Jersey with another family.
Could be.
Could be.
They should have him back on like the Cobra Kai. That'd be a good episode.
Could be.
Good.
Long lost
Yeah,
father.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go into that. There's a new season coming out.
Who's to say?
Curious.
Season 4, I think.
No.
3?
More than that. We might be on 5.
It might
5?
It might
Wow.
be. Who's to say?
I mean, these kids are like 27 now.
be. Right?
Oh my God. I still can't believe he was 22 when he did this.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. He was old.
Well, after the failed date, Daniel makes his way to Mr. Miyagi's house, where he finds a drunken Mr. Miyagi lamenting his long dead wife and son. The next day, Daniel trains alone. The following day, Daniel's training continues with Mr. Miyagi, where Daniel finally learns how to go on the offense as he is trained in how to punch. Time passes, and we come upon a red-letter day in the LaRusso family, Daniel's 18th birthday, which also happens to be the day before the All-Valley Karate Tournament. From Mr. Miyagi, Daniel receives a gi and the keys to any of Mr. Miyagi's cars of his choosing. Ready to take on the world, Daniel makes his way to Golf and Stuff, where he reconciles with Allie during a montage of scenes with Young Hearts
There it is.
playing in the background.
Young hearts beat fast. So yeah,
Driving down the road.
you don't even think about that. He turned 18, and it's an under 18.
Bam. That was
Yeah.
one of my questions. Thank you for pointing that out. It is the All Valley Under 18 Karate Tournament.
So there again, he's picking on kids.
Well, no, that's
You know
like
what I mean?
when you're playing t-ball and stuff. There's kids that are like,
It goes by the
yeah,
date.
it goes by the date
If
of
you're-
like the birthday.
If you're 18, under 18 before.
Well, then again, are you saying Daniel's a cheater? Then maybe
I'm
he's
just saying, like he wasn't under 18
because maybe Johnny was like only 15 at the time.
There's got to be some wiggle
He was
room.
still 17.
What if they would have scheduled it a week earlier? Then all of a sudden he wouldn't be 18. Like there's got to be some kind of wiggle in that.
Well, no,
It
it's
probably
like
is like-
signing up for kids sports. There's
like
always
Little
like a
League.
sign up date.
Like if you like in Little League, we'd have kids that turn 13 during the season. You know, when it's on 12. You know, usually 12 is the age. But yeah, that can make a difference sometimes. I know, like in travel baseball, like my son played for a couple years in there, and they would always target the kids that were older, like that would turn. If you're on 11U, you know, they'd have kids that were already 12. But they would, because that makes a difference. You know, I don't know about by the time you're 17, 18, 19. I mean, I'm sure you can get an edge though.
But a 10 to 12-year-old is a big difference.
Look, puberty starts
time.
kicking in at varying ages, man. But yeah, look, the older you are, man, it's, you know.
So you think Allie was all impressed that he had like this new yellow
100%.
convertible? Yeah, so she was like, "Oh, I kind of like him now."
Well, now he's like one of my friends. He's got a fancy car,
yeah.
and he has confidence in himself now that he knows how to punch or do whatever.
Well, that was a scene too. You were talking about the friends and how her friends were kind of
Yep.
jerky, and he's in there trying to apologize, and they're all getting in the way.
Yep.
Like they got to put their 2 cents. It's like beat it. It has nothing to do with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just got to keep putting in their 2 cents the whole time.
Yep. Get your white ass away from that window.
Yeah. I did think of that in that part.
Yeah. So curious between both of you, of all of the cars in Mr. Miyagi's lot,
I want to pick that one.
which one would you have taken? I, for one, would not have taken some bright canary yellow convertible.
No,
The
it was that black one.
I would
Yeah.
have taken the
The
black
black
one
one,
right
yeah.
next to it. Yep,
That's
for
the
sure.
one.
I think that's because the only one that they focus on because they always keep showing the canary yellow
Yep.
convertible. The black one right next because it had what is that, a Ford?
Who knows?
The
I mean,
car-
Because it had that long.
it was
Yeah.
wait. The yellow one or the black one?
No, the black one.
The black one was a 40 something. I would say Chevy or Ford.
Okay, I thought it was a
Yeah.
Ford.
The yellow one was a 1948 Ford Super Deluxe. It's DE-LUX.
Dang.
What does one run today, there, Dave?
That I don't know.
That's the type of apartment in the sky.
Yeah, Deluxe apartment
That's
in this guy.
That's
Right.
Deluxe.
Moving on up.
Moving on up.
Deluxe. Wasn't that the name of the band that sang "Groove Is in the Heart"?
That was Delight.
Oh, Delight.
Groove is in the
Delight.
heart.
What was that in the? Was that a '90s song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very early, but 90s
90.
nonetheless.
91, 92.
So good. So good.
It
Oh,
was a
so
great song.
fun fact. We see Mr. Miyagi, the character, lamenting the loss of his wife and his son from World War II. In reality, Pat Morita spent time in an internment camp while growing up.
I was going to say he was way too young to.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
But I mean,
I thought that's where you were going with it.
Pat Morita lived during World War II again, born and raised in the United States, but at the time, there was this thing against Japanese where, look, man, we don't know. You could be terrorists.
Yeah, and they put him in the camps.
They put him in camps.
George Takei was in that one of those too.
Really?
Yeah, George Takei was.
Sulu.
The actually, prisoner of war camp was right there on the depot in New Cumberland. That was a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
Oh wow.
There was another one of those. One of the trails where my buddies and I go hiking or whatever.
Trails of Tears.
Yes, the Trail of Tears. No, that was for the American Indians.
Okay.
There was an internment camp outside of Carlisle, basically like between here and Carlisle.
Wow.
Hmm.
Who knew?
Is it haunted?
No,
Okay.
not to my knowledge. The next day, the tournament arrives. Despite some pre-tournament hazing from a few Cobra Kai members, Daniel wins his first match, and we watch Daniel win again and again in a montage of scenes playing to the tune of "You're the Best."
Nothing's gonna ever keep you
Yeah.
down.
Heck no.
Love that song.
Didn't the one dude, the first guy he fought, didn't that look like Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah, what was that guy? Yeah, he was not looking
Yeah.
intimidating
But
at
it was
all.
Napoleon.
Yeah.
The acting, or I should say the punches thrown were pretty lame in that first
He
one.
was very much Glass Joe.
He was.
Like your first
Oh my God, yeah.
opponent.
It's probably like one of the writers or screen director, like one of their kids. They're like, get in there.
Yeah, just
No, so Glass Joe is the fighter. His first opponent is Don Flamenco.
He has the
no.
rose in his mouth.
no, that's not the first one.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Glass Joe is the first guy.
Yeah,
he
then
fought.
Don Flamenco's the second.
He's Don Flamenco's second. He has the rose in his mouth.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And then the
It's
third
Glass
guy is
Joe.
the pig guy, or punch in the belly.
King,
Bald-
King Hippo.
King
King
Hippo.
Hippo.
Not Bald Bull. It is King Hippo. My
Yep.
bad. And in fact, the kid's name is Billy. Right? The character's name?
Little
Billy
Mac.
the kid.
Yeah.
Little Mac.
Little Mac. God damn
Yeah.
it. I got to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
I have it right over there. We can play it.
You want me
I'm
to beat
out
it
of
real
that.
quick? I'll beat Tyson.
I
I'm
can
out of
beat.
that.
I beat him.
Fucking game here.
Yeah.
Getting
Wait, who's the guy before Tyson? Macho.
It's Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
No,
that's
no,
right.
Super Macho.
Super
Man.
Macho Man. Yeah.
Super
He does
Macho
a
Man.
bloop, 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 bloop,
Yeah,
bloop.
he was
Yeah.
just real muscular.
I got to play that game.
Oh, there was also the third guy. So it was Glass Joe,
Don
Flamenco, and then it was the guy, Great Tiger. He had the
Oh, the
diamond in
diamond.
the
Turban.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to hit the turban, then your body blows.
yeah. Yep.
Classic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Vintage Nintendo review. We should
Yeah.
do that.
Ooh, yeah, like old
That'd be a
Nintendo
good one.
games.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, fight after fight, Daniel makes his way to the semifinals. First up, LaRusso versus Bobby Brown. At the it's
That's
true.
his prerogative.
Yeah.
It is his prerogative to beat the shit out of Daniel.
It was a
And
whole new edition.
at the
Yeah.
at the insistence of his sensei, Bobby lands a cheap shot on Daniel's leg and is disqualified. This does, however, automatically move Daniel up to the finals.
Bobby was the good one, right? He was the one like, I'm sorry,
No,
Daniel.
I don't want to do it.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish. But how can Daniel compete with a bum leg? A little Miyagi magic can fix that. The final fight is soon at hand. Daniel versus Johnny.
It's funny that that Mr. Miyagi thing where he slaps his hands and rubs them together.
Yeah.
I'd do that to my kids sometimes. They're like, Dad, this hurts, and I do that whole
Just
thing.
do
They're like,
that.
yeah, they're like, what are you doing? Oh, the Miyagi.
The Miyagi
Yeah.
Does it work?
fixes it.
No, I think it does for them because they're like little kids. They think, you know what I mean? If they fall, like, oh, Dad, my leg, I can't. I was like, here, let me see it. Yeah,
we do that
clap your
next.
hands and
Create some heat and put it on there.
Yep.
You're like, oh, I feel that. That's
basically
I think it
like,
helped.
Yeah,
So we're talking about competitors, right? As he's going, like earlier, we were talking about his first fight against Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
So as again, at the montage of "You're the best around" or "You're the best," Daniel's fighting all these varying people, and I think his first Cobra Kai fight is against this fat dude, this brown haired fat guy,
Right.
and he does this walk up strut that he's like, they've already bowed and the fight's begun, and he just walks up to Daniel, and Daniel just knees him in the gut, and he falls over.
Quick.
So you can actually read the lips of so Johnny and Kreese are watching this.
Whispering each other.
Yeah. And you can read his lips. He says, Johnny says to Kreese, he's not good. Yeah, he's not good. Like you can see his lips moving.
He says that about Daniel.
No, he says it about the fat guy.
About the fat guy.
that
okay.
Daniel just beat the shit out of.
No, like justifying it.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Matt, you had mentioned, I guess Bobby is the quote unquote
Good guy.
good-ish.
Is he the one that
He's torn
when they were out
Yeah.
at the
at the fence.
and he's like, hey, he had enough, Johnny.
yes, exactly.
that
Like,
guy.
Johnny, stop it, Johnny.
That's Bobby.
Okay.
So we all have seen that hairstyle that Bobby sports. I'm curious, Matt,
Yes,
Did you have that same haircut when you were a kid?
of course.
Of course.
I the part down the middle is always classic.
Yeah.
It was so feathered.
Actually, I think George had one of the best feathered do's I've ever seen in my
I
life.
believe it.
So lush.
I remember like he'd be in the bathroom, like a towel, and listening to like Loverboy.
Like blow drying it.
Yeah, with the blow dryer.
Man, every George is working for the weekend.
yeah, he's like working for the weekend.
I can almost smell the
Turn me loose.
Fabergé, the cologne.
Fabergé.
Yeah. Turn me loose. But no, the feather. I'm bringing that back.
I
man.
love that track.
Which one? Turn Me Loose.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole album. I forget what the album's called, but it's like he has like those jeans on.
Oh, Loverboy album.
Yeah. It might be Loverboy. I
Working
think
for
it's
the
like
weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great album. I'm saying like when I because Karate Kid's on all the time, but if ever this montage is always something like I just keep on. If I'm like flipping through,
yeah, it's the
like I
best.
just leave it and sit down and like watch for like the 3 to 5 minutes at the end.
The music.
It just makes you feel good.
I love that music.
Mm.
I like any underdog story, so that's no different.
Was he an underdog though in real life?
I mean, you would say.
He had no formal training.
Yeah.
But he was trained by a master.
Mhm.
He had 2 months at best of training. In fact, no, a month and a half.
Yeah, you figure October. Yeah.
So this was after the Halloween dance, right? So
But
yeah.
but Miyagi was like his like family history. Like they were, he was passing on techniques that have been there since the beginning of Miyagi time.
of course, well, they had to stereotype it. They couldn't have Chuck Norris training him.
Right.
It had to be somebody from Japan or China or wherever the hell.
No, I'm just saying like he might have not have been like that much of an underdog. Like I think he was given a lot of
Proper training.
like the best training that you could get.
You have an edge then, yeah.
Well, as Mr. Miyagi had once said to Daniel, as Daniel's complaining about the bullies, he says, well, there's no such thing as bad students, only bad teacher.
Mm.
Yeah. And I like when they get to the match, he goes, I thought you knew what we're doing here. And Miyagi's like, no, I fought for my life, not for points.
There you go.
So he's never fought in anything like this.
Well, the climax commences. A punch to Johnny's torso lands Daniel with his first point. Thereafter, a scissor leg and a blow to the back of Johnny's head lands Daniel with his second point and Johnny with a bloody nose. Sweep the leg is the direction given to Johnny by Sensei Kreese. That move gives Johnny his first point and Daniel a world of pain.
Mm.
Thereafter, an elbow to Daniel's ribcage lands Johnny with his second point. Frustrated with the slow progression of what should have been an easy victory for Johnny, Johnny grabs hold of Daniel's bum leg and gives him an elbow to the back of the knee. All hope seems lost for Daniel. Tensions are high. Recalling his sensei's crane technique, Daniel calls upon this ancient Chinese secret and miraculously lands it flawlessly. This final kick to Johnny's face cements Daniel's victory. A humbled Johnny hands the winning trophy to Daniel, and Mr. Miyagi looks on, smiling with satisfaction.
You're all right, LaRusso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
See?
He
Good
could
guy.
be all right.
He is a good guy.
Kill him, Johnny.
Yeah,
Put him in a body bag.
Get him a body bag.
So
Get him, Johnny.
which guy was that one? That wasn't Bobby, obviously.
Yeah.
That wasn't
It wasn't Bobby.
was
It
that
wasn't Dutch.
Tommy?
That was Dutch, I think.
It was either
Jimmy?
Tommy or Jimmy.
Tommy or Jimmy?
Who's the one that looked like he was in the Lost Boys with the blonde hair? Was that Jimmy?
That was Dutch.
Dutch.
Who was
that
Steve
was
McQueen's kid.
and that was
Yeah.
actually a dye job on that hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a pretty bad dye job, too.
Mhm. Get him a body
I
bag.
wonder if they used Sun In for that.
I remember Sunning, yeah. I
And
used to use that.
when you couldn't afford Sun In, you would put lemon in water.
Yeah,
Spray
so
that
the
on your
beach.
hairs.
I did that.
Yeah. There's some kids who use Kool-Aid too.
No, that was the diet.
Dye different colors.
Is that a thing?
Me
yeah, I
and
think girls did that and stuff.
So before we get into
Mikey, Zach, and I did that one year
Put
with Kool-Aid.
you dyed your hair with Kool-Aid?
Yeah, over the summer.
Doesn't it just wash out?
It does when you wash it out with like soap and stuff, but you dye it in there. Like you just do like a soft mix of it in like the sink. And like you put red or blue. It's pretty cool.
I remember that being a thing.
I do not remember that one.
Mhm.
So I do recall questioning this scene here, these fights. So Johnny's non-karate punch to the face got him no points. So this is just when he just basically, hooks Daniel and hits him. He got no points for that.
Right.
So, but Daniel had blows to the face. I should say Daniel received points for blows to the face.
So what's the difference?
Yeah. So what face or head blows are okay and which ones aren't?
I think you're allowed not a closed. It's like an open hand.
Oh,
maybe.
This makes sense.
In like when they don't wear like an open hand to the face is a strike that counts. Like if you punch a closed fist to the face, I think doesn't count.
This makes sense now. Okay.
That does make sense.
There was like the karate thing was huge back then. Like everybody was, into karate. People were doing all different types of karate.
Chinese stars were all the rage.
Yeah.
They certainly were. Nunchucks.
I was wondering, nunchucks, Chinese stars, all that. Do you think that was I remember around this time, that was hot stuff. Like, that was like the hot thing to have, Chinese stars.
Sure, you could buy them at Big M.
Yep.
Yeah, the Big M market. You think this movie was the reason, or was there something else that I'm missing?
That the guy had his own like karate stand? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like,
I don't know. So you had the kung fu movies from the 70s and early 80s.
Ooh, right.
With the voiceovers, with the, you'd see their mouths moving, but you'd hear English coming out. Mm-hmm. Those were big. Wushu is the name of that variety of movie, by the way. Wushu.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Didn't know that
I
one.
thought it was the Wu Tang.
And by Wushu, I think it's WUXU.
Mm.
Wushu.
But yeah, you could buy those like the sticks with the knife on the end.
Shit,
like
yeah.
You could buy like the stars. You could buy those size or whatever they were called with the things with the pokers. I don't know. You could eat anything at that freaking store. It was awesome.
You get one of those like brass knuckles with a knife like attached to it. You know what I'm talking about?
Dang.
Everybody
Remember
wanted
those?
Like a switchblade.
You would put your hands to it. It'd be like brass knuckles, but then it'd also be a knife, so you could punch or stab.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of
the handle. So it was just the handle of the knife
was open.
It had metal rings at the end of it into which you would insert your fingers to grab that knife.
So you could stab.
Stab. And
I was thinking the Rambo
punch the
knife.
face.
That was all the rage too.
Shit,
You
yeah.
would take the compass off the back and it
Off
had
the
the
top.
matches and fishing lines and shit in there.
Yeah.
I got one of those at the Big M.
The Big M was a spot, and you get some fresh Utz chips there.
I think at the time, I paid like $14 for it, which is a lot of money.
Cash.
Back in
cash,
those days.
straight cash.
Fun facts. Oh,
I love this part.
it's about that time.
I love it even more because you two, I'm leaving it up to you to impress me. What do you got?
So I'll start off here with Ralph Macchio is in every scene of this film. There's not one scene where you don't see him.
Oh,
It's like Superman.
Fun fact.
that's crazy.
He is
Fun
like
fact.
Superman.
Yeah, that's a fun fact.
You got anything?
Oh, no, I just found this whole movie as a fun fact.
The whole thing's fun.
The whole thing is fun within itself.
So, the ref at the end of this movie, the guy at the very end who's officiating the
mustache
championship
guy?
match, yes.
Yeah.
His name is Pat E. Johnson. He was a former student of Chuck Norris.
I knew that.
Hey.
And a karate expert himself. So, Daniel LaRusso, original name they were thinking for this movie? Anybody know?
Butch
Butch Cassidy.
No, it was. I
Devion
thought
Charlemagne.
I had heard. I'm off. I can't remember.
Daniel Weber.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah,
Daniel Weber.
And then they were like, well,
Isn't he like
Nah.
a producer or like a music guy?
Daniel Weber, I don't know. He played for Michigan, I thought.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
Chris
Weber.
Yeah.
No, Spud Weber.
Spud Weber.
No,
Yeah.
Daniel Weber. Like, doesn't he make like the soundtracks to like Disney movies?
I mean, he could.
I don't know,
It
yeah.
might be a name like that.
Yeah.
And how about Johnny Lawrence? You know his original name?
No,
Matt.
Todd
Todd.
Skaczynski.
Johnny Coltrane.
Yeah. Donald Rice, which that doesn't sound
Well, the names are based on the writer's, like, I think, family. And that was where the whole concept of the story was. He went to train in martial arts, and there was actually like a Miyagi guy or whatever that taught him.
Mhm.
Did you say there was a Miyagi
Yeah,
guy?
that's his name, Miyagi or something like that, was his sensei.
So talking about the ages, we said Macchio 22, Elizabeth Shue 20, Rob Garrison, Tony O'Dell were 23, Chad McQueen 22, Ron Thomas was 22, and William Zabka, who played Johnny Lawrence, was 18. He was the youngest of them all.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I had no idea that Macchio was that old. Like he just looks like a baby.
I remember like back when this came out and the movie was out and stuff, and he was in all those magazines. It was a big deal that he was in these Teen Beats magazines. He was like 24, 25 by then. Like he was older.
Well, thank you for bringing that up because I'm thinking about that this whole time. So in these Teen Beat magazines, which are intended for teens,
Like, yeah, exactly.
they're looking at this grown ass, very adult man.
right.
Like that's fucked up.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas, wasn't he? Didn't he play with Santana?
Yeah, Rob
Yes.
Tom,
Yeah.
Matchbox.
Matchbox
20,
20.
whatever, yeah. Let me think here.
Do we know any of the coulda, woulda, shouldas
Yes.
instead of?
It was like everybody who was
Ralph
everybody in
Macchio.
the 80s.
Is that right?
Yes.
No, I have a big list here.
Yep.
So for Daniel, Sean Penn,
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr., Charlie Sheen, John Cryer, Emilio Estevez.
Could you imagine John Cryer?
No.
Yeah, he would have sucked.
I hate that guy.
Nicolas Cage, Anthony Edwards, C. Thomas Howell, Tom Cruise.
Tom
That would
Cruise.
have been fun.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Cruise could have been it.
Of course.
Right. Eric Stoltz, D.B. Sweeney. And then Ralph Macchio got the role ultimately because of performance in The Outsiders.
Oh, great movie.
Yes.
And,
They actually they thought Tom Cruise was too tall for
He
the
was
role.
too tall.
Yeah.
He couldn't do the crane.
Yeah.
He couldn't reach his face from the kick. He'd kick him in the
Yeah,
nuts.
he couldn't fight anybody.
What's worse is that he would have been shorter than Mr. Miyagi.
His crane, yeah, he would have kept getting disqualified for nut kicks.
He would have needed a crane in order to pull off the crane technique.
For sure.
Mm.
This was the top video rental of 1985.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Sure.
I know I probably rented it a million times.
Hell yeah.
Supposedly, these are all these names we were throwing out. It's from the internet. So who knows? But Jim Carrey auditioned for
I
either
didn't
Johnny
hear that.
Interesting.
which I don't know.
Wait,
about
for
that one.
Johnny.
Johnny or Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, both, I guess.
Jim,
Jim
like I can see, like,
He's like, fuck it, I'll try either.
yeah.
he's like, I'm Johnny.
Yeah, it would have been funny to see him. Michael J. Fox was considered for the title role, but he did Back to the Future.
He
And then
chose wisely.
Yeah, and Elizabeth Shue ended up hooking up with him then in those. I guess
Yeah.
what in the sequel then, right?
Correct.
She replaced.
That's correct.
Yeah. Oh, the Sean Penn thing. He turned it down because he wanted to do more adult roles. That he later on said he thought Macchio did a great job in it.
Yeah, Sean Penn would have been too serious.
Yeah. So for the role of Allie, Demi Moore, Helen Hunt, they were both considered for that role.
Hmm.
Helen Hunt's in the new True Detective
Yeah.
on HBO. I heard that was really good.
Yeah, she was in something, a movie that I watched recently, Helen Hunt, and it was like a really good movie.
Wings.
It was about no, it wasn't Wings. It was about a thing called frogging. You ever hear of that?
Frogging?
It's PHROGGING.
No.
To explain.
So frogging basically is like these people, vloggers and stuff, people that video and put shit on YouTube. They'll go around and try to break into a house and see how long they can last with you not knowing they're there. So they'll live in your attic.
Jesus
Oh, wait,
Christ.
I saw some of that movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
They'll live in your basement. They'll live in, I don't really,
There's like a
now I
room
don't really want to
upstairs
give the
or-
way.
You're saying this is more than minutes. This is like days.
weeks. And like people think their house is haunted and they're like, oh shit, why is that open now? Why is this like they screw with you while they're living there and
That's messed up.
they document it. But you got to do it in like a big house, where
Yeah.
there's rooms you
Like a
can't do it in
two-bedroom
like
apartment.
a trailer or something like that.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
But it was a really good
What's this called again?
frogging.
Frogging. Not
Yeah.
soaking, but
Soaking,
frogging.
that's in the Mormons.
Is it
would
like
do
a
that.
PH? PH or just?
Yeah, PHROGGING.
Huh.
Here's a funny one here. This is, and I can believe this.
We are in fun fact land.
It is fun fact land, and I hate to be hogging all these, but
No,
No,
please.
you got him.
But now this is supposedly, but Kyle Eastwood, son of Clint Eastwood,
Oh,
went out for the title role of the Karate Kid. He failed to get the part,
denied.
denied. Clint Eastwood was pissed, real upset. He banned all Coca-Cola products from the sets of any movie he was associated with. And at the time, Columbia Studios was owned by Coca-Cola.
Hmm.
So if you notice in the movie in the beginning, they had Minute Maid orange juice out.
Yeah.
And they made a big deal of showing the Minute Maid and that was a product, Coca-Cola product, I guess,
Sure
of
was.
of that company. And
Yep.
also a Sprite can later on. I don't know why, and that he would even have Poole to even care, because this is probably very early on in his career. But
Sure.
Macchio supposedly didn't like that, and like was pissed about the promotion of these Coke products. It's like, dude, you're in this movie getting paid. Deal with it,
Yeah.
Like,
What,
I
he
don't-
wanted the Coke products?
He didn't. He was
didn't.
like, he was upset that they were promoting them because it all had to do with product placement, because Coca-Cola owned Columbia or
Yeah.
had a tie to it, and he tried to cover the Sprite logo. They said in that scene, if you pay close attention,
What an ass.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what, Ralph. If you're not acting in this movie, you're going to be acting in commercials.
Right. Stop trying to be so macho.
Yeah.
What-
Ooh, I
that
like
was
what you
good.
did there.
Yeah.
What was he really in after the Karate Kid series?
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
after that, like what was he really in?
My cousin Vinny.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, he
forgot
was
about
good in that.
hmm
Other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I can think of 3 Ralph Macchio movies, and that's it.
Yeah. So William Zabka, after this movie, continued his karate training. He became a 2nd degree green belt. So I don't know where that lies on the chart.
Mm.
If a green belt's close to black belt or how good that is, but
I have no clue.
No clue.
yeah.
I know that, unless I'm mistaken, this was Zabka's first movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was 18 and yeah. Elizabeth Shue at the time was enrolled at Harvard.
Dang.
Smarty
And,
pants.
Smart and sexy.
Yeah, stopped their studies to be in this movie. That
Wonder if she ever went back. I figure if you're like to be Harvard educated, I mean, they accept like 2%.
well, you had your chance to ask her and you missed
Yeah,
it.
I missed it. I should
You
have talked to her.
that. Just think if we would have did this before that, you know what I mean? You'd be able to go up there, hey, we did this movie and ask her.
I wonder like what stars are like, because she's not like super huge, but she's big enough that people
She's
would.
definitely big enough.
But I mean, like, do they get annoyed? Like, if you would just say, "Hey, like, can I get a pic?" You know what I mean? Like, where do
Yeah.
you stop that at? Like,
Well,
I
that
don't know.
that the person would actually enjoy it maybe for the recognition. You know?
Look, I got to tell you, I bet that they all enjoy it for maybe the first few months of their career.
Exactly.
And then it gets old really quickly.
Because like, if you can't even go out, like, she was with her husband, or well, I don't know if she's married, but I mean, she was with somebody, and they were like having a good time, you know, talking or whatever. You don't, hey, Elizabeth Shue, like, I love your movies. Can I get a picture? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I'm sorry. I'm
No.
sure, like Zap said, after a while, it gets old.
It gets really old. So old. I was in an elevator once with, what's her name? Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
No,
Stevie Nicks.
Nicks. I was in an elevator with Stevie
Wow.
Nicks and her handler, and she was in the elevator the whole time. Like, as soon as I jumped on, she put a coat over her head and like zipped it up over her face, knowing full well that she would have to leave that elevator to go someplace else. Like, so imagine just somebody walking up.
Where's this, like at Hershey or something?
No,
or?
this was at the one hotel in Philadelphia.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's got the dome on it. What is it? God damn it, I can't remember. It was a hotel. Then they converted most of it to apartments.
Mm-hmm.
It was God damn, it's right by City Hall. I can't remember.
So
I'm
you
terrible.
you were the only one on there with her?
No,
Oh, so there was a group
Oh,
of
okay.
people.
no, that was my wife and I, and then
Nix and her bodyguard.
Nix and her handler. Yeah,
I mean, even this is on a much smaller level, but I'll never forget this because they were kind of big at the time, but not. I mean, they had a couple of songs out. The Bloodhound Gang. I
Yeah.
talked about that.
Mhm.
So they played locally here at it was called Galiftes.
it was the Ritz Carlton, by the way.
That was the
Oh,
hotel.
wow.
It was the
Okay,
Ritz. Yeah,
I got you. They played at Galiftes across the river, which they had a little bar and then like a stage and stuff underneath. I don't know if you remember
yep.
that.
Oh yeah,
So they came there. They had a tour bus and stuff. The Roof is on Fire was like that. That was their first big song, kind of, and that was kind of hitting at the time. It was on MTV. They had videos and stuff. Well, they came there to play, and it's a small venue. There was an opening band and all that, and we're there hanging out, and he's walking around like drinking beer and hanging out, and all the guys are. He was like a real small guy with blonde dreadlocks. The drummer, he was there. He was real nice. Jimmy Pop was walking around. We were walking into the bathroom and people were trying to talk to him. He's like, I can't talk. I got it. And he was like doing this, like, I got to see. So I'm wondering, like, with like that, he probably does that just so like he don't have to talk to people. But it's like,
Makes
that's
sense.
on like a small level. Like this
Sure.
guy's by no means popular, but I'll never forget that thinking, yeah, he's probably just don't want to be bothered. Like people talking to him. And
To
shit.
be in an elevator with like Stevie Nicks, though, I probably like. See, that's the whole thing. You don't want to be that person.
You can't. And I promise you, I didn't say a word to her or the handler or anybody. I just remember getting on that elevator, and as soon as I'm sure that she and her handler were hoping that they would go right to the ground floor, which is a tough ask if she's up in
Yeah.
the penthouse. So I get on immediately. This jacket is zipped up over her face, like on the top of her head, which I'm sure we've all done, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to fit your head through that hole.
Mhm.
And again, then she's just pushed back into a corner, and then her handler's there in between me and would be her. and then she's escorted off the elevator once we get to the lobby.
You should have started like singing White Winged Dove.
Yeah, right. Break out your guitar, start playing.
And your wife should have like jumped in. I'm sure that would have annoyed the shit out of her.
I am sure.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of that, a very famous person, Ice Cube, I met and was as nice as can be. Signed everybody. You know, we were down in Philly and he was hanging out at the Holiday Inn in the lobby. We were going for a concert.
Motel, Holiday Inn.
And the Chiefs were playing the Eagles the next day. It's down by the stadium there. We were going to the concert the next day. It was like Korn. It was the Family Values tour, and he was on tour with them.
Sure.
We all walk in. We're like, oh, there's all these big dudes. We're like, they must play for the Chiefs because the Chiefs are in town. Well, they were his bodyguards.
Who owned the Chiefs?
And they part, and there he is. And my buddy's like, oh, it's Ice Cube. Went over. He was as nice as can be. Took time with everybody.
They said Kevin Bacon, I saw him play at that when I showed you guys those pictures.
Right.
But they said afterwards, like he had a table and everybody, he sat and talked to everybody, and
Damn.
like everybody waited to go and talk to him, and he sat there for like 10, 15 minutes talking to people. Like people were waiting around for like an hour to talk to him. I was like, shit, we left early because we're old.
Yeah.
We wanted to get out of the traffic.
See, that's an opportunity where we should have been there with like our stuff.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Kevin, can we get 5 minutes?
But yeah, they said he was like cool as can be. But
I could believe that with him. He
Sure.
seems like down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
So one last one here I have. The car given to Daniel, that 1948 yellow Ford Deluxe, he still owns it to this day. And it appeared in the Cobra Kai TV series. So
I didn't know that he owned it. I saw it in the series, but I didn't know that he owned it.
yeah, it was given to him after completion of the film, they said.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, it's his.
Wow.
But yeah.
I wonder if he was like, I should have chose the other car then if I knew I could have kept it.
I wonder. Yeah, because you wonder if he really liked that one the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, because they told him what he had to drive.
The car would have been cool, minus for my sake. I don't want a convertible, and I definitely don't want a yellow
The
car.
color was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One other thing I wanted to go back to at the very end, and it kind of, when I'm watching, I'm like, this doesn't seem to fit. Did you guys think anything about the promoter that was kind of announcing the whole thing? He's wearing that blue leisure suit.
Yep, with sideburns. Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like Cousin Eddie's like outfit from.
Correct.
I'm like, this guy's the promoter that's running this, because it looked like a huge, big event. I mean, there was tons of people there. It just seemed like an odd.
It's like the All Valley.
Yeah, it was the All Valley meet.
Yes, the whole valley.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's multiple valleys.
But he just didn't seem to fit that profile of like a promoter for that.
Maybe they're just like looking like they got somebody they thought was like a promoter type, like World Wrestling they might have thought about.
Dude, Matt, I can't believe you said that, because I look at that guy and I think of maybe a younger
Mouth of the South.
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Or something
Bobby the
like
Brain,
that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too, the wrestling.
But yeah, I think if somebody's like, oh, a promoter, wrestling guy, whoever's doing the casting,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, this guy looks cool. We'll
Yeah.
take him.
Over the top.
But yeah, that was a fun one. You guys got anything else we missed?
I got nothing else. I know that for me, this was super fun. This was all of our childhood's, movie, a must watch. Just a great, great feel good movie.
Speaking of that, back to the last thing we do, late fee, return, or burn. So why don't we start with Zap this time? Late fee, return, or burn?
You know what? I might actually late fee this one.
Yeah.
I would late fee this one. Now, again, this is taking away the whole idea of being able to stream and all that bullshit.
Yeah, let's make a rule that like when we do these movies, we're talking about it's 1985.
What we would do at the time of the
Yeah.
movie.
Put yourself in those shoes.
I would late fee this.
I agree. I'm late feeing it because if I remember the first time I probably saw it was probably on like HBO, but if I did rent it, I know I watched it again and like really enjoyed it. So same thing for me, late fee. Matt, what you got?
I just remember watching it on HBO. If I had to, if I rented it, I would probably think about when I had to return it, but I probably try to watch it as much as I can.
So you're holding it, but probably getting it back.
Probably, I'm giving it back, but
okay.
Back in time, but with multiple watches.
yes, multiple watches,
multiple
of course.
So we got 2 late fees and 1 return. No burns yet.
No.
So that's good.
Just can't not this one. This is an American classic.
It definitely is. If aliens landed and said, "Show me the 80s," I'd say, "Here, check this out."
Yep.
And,
Did they archive this movie yet? I know they just said Home Alone was just archived in the National Treasuries of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So for like it'll be encased. So for the generations, like 3,000 years from now, would be able to watch.
Be able
Home
to
Alone.
watch it. They'll probably put ODB podcast in there.
Shit,
someday,
yeah.
if they're smart.
Check your local Smithsonian.
Yep,
in the vaults,
in the vaults. That's right.
Deep in the back.
In the back.
with the Ark of the Covenant.
Right. All right, fellas. Well, I guess that's it. If you have anything else.
No.
Yeah, so don't forget to find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, where you're at listening to us. But check out our Facebook and Instagram as well. Don't forget to go over there and follow us on TikTok as well at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for hanging out in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is available streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.